Have you ever seen someone's eyes light up as they talk a million miles a minute about something they've created? Or how about your neighbor's kid, beaming from ear to ear, running quickly towards you with his first drawing in his hand? These lit up eyes, beaming faces, and quick running aren't just coincidences. They're indicators of our need to create. Our need to create stems from its power to connect us to ourselves and to others, inspiring others to create too. Take Maya here, for example. Can anyone guess what she just did? No? She just wrote her own rule card for a game called Doozy. It says, every player must make the best impression of riding a bike. Whoever does it best moves forward 5 spaces. Not only does her smile show her pride for her own work, it also reflects her confidence. She's so confident that she's open and willing to share her work with others. With 2 other team members in a class right here at USC, I created a game called Doozy. It's a life-size board game for kids ages 8 and up, designed to improve cognitive and socio-emotional health. After playing the game, kids are prompted to write their own cards and sometimes even design their own games too. Let me give you a quick breakdown of how this game works. So first you take these circular spaces and you put it in any closed loop of your choice, and you start on that start and finish space, and the goal is to go all the way around the loop. You roll the die and you go to the next space of that color, and you draw a card. The idea is to use these cards to encourage players' own creativity and free play. Players move, interact, and create with one another as they draw each card, collaborating and competing with each other in order to win the game. By bringing Doozy to local communities, I've seen over 500 smiling faces, just like Maya's, as they create and connect with themselves. But I've also learned a really important lesson. These kids are also able to create and connect with each other playing the game, especially when they're playing with their parents. Let me tell you a quick little story. So this February, I met a 40-year-old father and his 8-year-old daughter, and after a few plays into the game, they were prompted to switch shoes with another player. So here's what happened. The dad sheepishly put on these tiny little flip-flops as she happily jumped into his big sneakers, as you can see here. So they quickly noticed how different they were in size, but they also noticed how hilarious this little act had become. She honestly was just so excited to see her dad do something so silly. So they decided to take a picture together, and they walked out hand in hand to go to the next exhibit. Let me tell you another story. Can anyone guess what this dad is doing right here? Anyone? No? So the card he drew was, act like a taco until your next turn. What? So his son immediately rushed over and imitated him because he was just so happy to see how his dad had turned into a taco for an entire turn. A turn lasts like 3 to 5 minutes, by the way. So one can argue that these acts aren't exactly creative in the most traditional sense, but they actually all have the same characteristics as a creative act. To put simply, creativity is the process of bringing something new into being. There are many different ways of structuring creativity, but these are the 5 steps that I like to use. So first, the creator prepares for the creation, becoming immersed in a set of issues that spark interest and creativity. So in the last picture that you saw, the dad had to first ask himself, how do I act like a taco? Then in incubation, the ideas begin to churn below the creator's threshold of consciousness. So the dad begins to think, and an idea starts to form in his head, and he begins to visualize just how might he act like a taco. And then there's the aha moment, when the creator in fact creates. And this is also when the creator might experience something called flow, where the person engaged in an activity is in the mental state of mind with complete energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process of the activity. So in this case, the dad consciously decides that he's going to fearlessly lay on the ground for the next 3 to 5 minutes and act like a taco in front of everyone. Then, after the aha moment and flow period is over, the creator evaluates and elaborates on the creation, oftentimes going back to the beginning of the process in order to improve and iterate on the creation itself. So the dad continues to play the game, and he increasingly builds on his previous experiences to create again. With our deck of 144 different cards, we like to focus on building in these small opportunities for players to experience flow. As I mentioned before, flow is the mental state of mind in which a person engaging in an activity has energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process. Each time a person experiences flow, she will want to create again, as you can see in the process of creativity. This is also partly because flow allows for the conscious and subconscious to merge more intimately. The creator is more aware and more connected with herself with more clarity of thought. Flow also boosts her self-confidence, so pushing her to share her work with others and inspiring them, encouraging them to join in on her next creation. So every creative act counts, as you can see. What's most remarkable about flow is that it can happen in a variety of different creative expressions, from art to music to dance to sports, but also every little day acts, like cooking or journaling, photographing, and even talking. Every creative act counts, and it builds a creator's self-confidence to continue creating again and again and again. But no matter the activity that you engage in, the characteristics of flow are the same. Action and awareness are merged, so the creator is completely focused on what she is doing. Distractions are excluded, so she's only aware of what's relevant to here and now. There's no worry of failure, and instead there's a very distorted sense of time. And self-consciousness disappears entirely as the activity begins to become self-motivated, meaning she has no reason for doing the activity other than to experience, have that feeling and experience that it provides. So when we were first creating Doozy, we reached out to mentors, and we were asking them, we were curious. We were asking them, how did you do it? And we wanted to be inspired by their drive and fearlessness. And today, we still look to established creators for their guidance and for their inspirations. But today, I'm also shocked and always humbled that every single time I talk about Doozy, even briefly mention that there's this side project that I've been working on, people are curious. And usually the next question they ask me is, so I also kind of have this idea that I've been thinking about. I don't know. What do you think? Creating something fills a need in one's life, a need to connect one's conscious and subconscious self, and an even greater need to connect with others. Albert Einstein once said, "Creativity is contagious. Pass it on." So today, I'd like to leave you all with this. What's the idea that you've kind of been thinking about? Start by doodling, writing, or maybe even singing in the shower about it, because it's important to start small, because as you can remember, every creative act counts. And I encourage you to go out there and take a small stab at it, and then tell someone about it and inspire them to do the same, so that, as we all know, we all have a need to create. Thank you.